Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to wherever you may be watching this from. Welcome back to the Five Takeaways, a show about Carolina basketball. Good to see you guys again. It's just really not enough time for me to get a video out between the Wake Forest game on Wednesday and the early game today against Notre Dame. Hand up, I fell asleep during the Wake Forest game at the end. So today's going to be a little bit different. I have a few boxes. I don't know if I'm going to get all the way to five. But I'm going to touch on a few people that have really stood out to me over the past two games this week, and then a little bit about the ACC and how I think we're doing 5 games into the conference season. So, of course, today, Carolina beats Notre Dame by a score of 81-64. Pretty comfortable throughout, had a double-digit lead going into halftime. And I think Notre Dame cut it to 9 or maybe even 7 at one point in the second half. But for the most part, we looked good. Lots of different people contributing. Pete Nance was out with an injury, didn't play at all. But Seth Trimble, who we'll talk about in this video, did a great job today and on Wednesday, I thought. And so 3-2 in the conference. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. First box of the day is a green for Seth Trimble, as I was actually just mentioning. I thought he was great against Wake Forest. I thought he was good today as well. He's not doing a lot of scoring yet, but when he does score, it looks great. His free throws have looked good, and that's a good indication of, jump shot success. On-ball defense, always good. Standing in, taking charges, scrapping for the ball if it goes on the floor. He's just everywhere. He seems to be pretty athletic, even for being a shorter guard. Shows a lot of promise. And the thing I really want to talk about with Seth is how many times in recent memory, have we had a point guard who we can just put out for a few minutes here or there, 5 minutes one half, 4 minutes in the other, and they show flashes, but they don't have to do everything, right? They can kind of practice with these much older, better guards. They can get some game experience, but they're not going to have the ball in their hands with the game on the line and 30 seconds left. We really haven't had that, Since Joel Berry, he had the starting role, and there was no one really underneath him, point guard-wise, that we thought could take over, right? Because Kobe White comes in and just immediately gets the starting role, and he's awesome, but then he's gone in a year. And then Cole Anthony comes in, and he's really good. He's hurt throughout the year, and of course it's the COVID year, and it's just a bad year overall for Carolina basketball to our standards. But then he's gone, and then Caleb comes in, and he's the starter from day one, right? And we've had him or RJ, Caleb, however you want to say it, in terms of who's the official point guard. But either way, they both come in the same year. And so we really haven't had this since, I'll say, Marcus Page and Joel Berry, where you've got an experienced guard, RJ, Caleb, and then, in the previous example, it would be Marcus Page. And then you've got the new guard coming in the old times, that would be the Joel Berry. Here it's Seth Trimble, where, again, you're not using him all the time, but you can pick and choose. Okay, here's a good time. We have a little bit of a lead. Get in there, get some experience, get into the action, and see what it's all about. And I think that's just going to do wonders for his development. So 1 to 2 years down the road, casual basketball fan turns on an ESPN game, and the announcer's like, wow, this Seth Trimble kid, who saw this coming? He was averaging, 2 points his freshman year and 4 points his sophomore year, and now he's averaging 16 a game. Well, yeah, because his development has really allowed for him to kind of ease into the college basketball scene. Not sure if he will develop exactly linearly like that, but it is cool to have the young understudy in this capacity for the first time in a while. So green box for Seth Trimble there. I have another green for Leaky, especially on Wednesday, career high in points. It was great. He basically traded with Caleb, which we'll talk about in a little bit in terms of point totals. So Leaky has 18, Caleb only has 7. It's kind of a net 0 for Carolina basketball, which is so cool when you think about how deep this team can be. And again, today he's just, making blocks, passes, scores when he needs to, rebounds. He's everywhere. We give him a green, I feel like twice a month, every third game basically, and today's no different. So green for him. I had a green actually for Justin McCoy, mainly for the Wednesday game, but he came in today and was okay. I've never really felt like he's added that much value when he's on the floor, but Wednesday was the first time when I really thought, oh, wow, I could see how he's helping the team and he's making some good hustle plays. So green for him as well. I've got a yellow for Caleb. Today started out great. Probably would get a green if it was just for this Notre Dame game, but this is kind of a weekly recap version of these videos, so I'm going to give him a yellow overall because it was probably a red on Wednesday. Shot selection today, even though he shot the ball much better, was still poor at times. Radio announcers for the Tar Heels were talking about, when he drives, first time he gets into trouble while driving the ball, sometimes he'll just put up a floater, and those he misses a lot. So today against Notre Dame, he was doing a better job of when he drives, if he runs into someone or contact starts, to not just stop and put up the shot immediately, but maybe take one more dribble or one more step and try and get even closer to the rim and finish. He seems to sometimes have more success with that. At the end of the day, regardless of his shot selection, which you would hope would improve with experience, or what shots he's deciding to take, he is helping us win way more than he is causing us single-handedly to lose. He is never making enough mistakes where it's like, oh, we as the rest of the team can't overcome what he is doing. He is that detrimental. That's never been the case. And the days that even he's average, or of course the days he's good, he elevates our team so much. So if you're just going to sit and look at turnovers and field goal percentage and just say he's bad, I'm afraid you just don't know ball. I mean, he really does a lot of other things for us, and just he draws defenders to him, even if he's having a bad shooting night, that can theoretically open up opportunities for other players. So yellow for Caleb, but in all, can't say he's bad. You just can't say that. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the ACC conference standings. I don't know if I'll put a box for that. I could also put a box for depth, even though this is a little bit repetitive because we've talked about this in previous videos, but super deep today. Having guys like DeMarco Dunn and Puff, and of course Seth Trimble filling in a starting role today. Those three guys in particular that come to mind, that can contribute off the bench, actually score between 7 to 9 points and actually make a block or a steal, really impact the game and not just give our starters a break on the bench. That's something I definitely didn't think we had last year, and is so big for us down the stretch in these games that are every other day or back-to-back, even in the ACC tournament. It's great to see. And then you have that other level of Jalen Washington, Tyler Nickel, guys that can come in and more so just relieving the starters, but they're not afraid to score, get a block, get a rebound. Anything helps. I just think we're so much deeper as a team this year, so I guess you could say green box for depth. But that'll pretty much wrap it up today. I basically avoided Armando completely because he's so consistently 20 and 10 awesome. Free throws were a little bit down today, but that's nothing that you can't really improve upon. I guess I'll just end with this. We're 3-2 in the ACC conference. We've beaten Notre Dame, which is usually a solid team, and they usually have our number. Mike Bray, no coach in sports is happier about the move to casual dress post-pandemic than Mike Bray. He's an all-time vibes guy. I actually really don't mind Mike Bray. He's great. Notre Dame, you know these players because they play there 3-4 years, and credit to them for keeping those players. They always give us grief. So it's a good win today. We've also beaten Georgia Tech, which we should win, and we beat Wake Forest at home, but was a tough game, and they gave us everything, and they have some good players. So 3 quality wins. The Virginia Tech loss on the road, I thought was a good loss. Now, maybe they're not as good as they were last year. The Pitt loss, I thought was awful on the road on a noon on Friday. But now they're 4-0 and could be 5-0 today if they beat also 4-0 Clemson. So, one loss that I thought was good might not be great. One loss that I thought was bad might not be that bad. Regardless, I don't think any team in the ACC is going to finish the regular season with less than 2 losses. I think everyone's going to have at least 2. So for Carolina, we already have our 2 losses. Do I think we will win out? No. Do I think we could get out of this stretch with maximum 2 more losses? Yeah. And then I think a 4-loss team is going to get a double bye in the ACC tournament. I think it'll be one of the top 4 teams. Obviously, the goal for the preseason number 1 overall team should probably be to win the league. And for some reason, I have this infatuation with winning the regular season. I don't know if it's like tradition or just kind of a weird thing. I don't know. I really think that's cool if you're consistently good from early December to early March. So it'll be interesting to see if the ACC kind of has a lot of good teams and no great teams, if they kind of beat each other up and you could sneak into first place with 3 or 4 wins. It'll also be interesting to track the Tar Heels and say, can you put 7 wins together and go into one of those Duke games or, a late state game and you're 8-2 in the conference, 9-2. That would really set the precedent of, okay, now I think we can win this regular season. So just interesting. I love to keep track of the conference standings, and we've got 2 ACC wins in a row now. So we're going to Virginia, who right now are ranked 11. I think that'll change because they lost to Pitt as well. But that'll be a big test on Tuesday night. So we'll see you guys then. But, good week for Carolina basketball. Let's keep stacking days. Thanks for watching, and go Heels.